It is the ratings. We are live after Liverpool have been beaten by 3-2 by Bournemouth. We're in the Munro. We're made up to be in the Munro. We're not made up with the outcome, obviously. The way in which it goes. Who's man of the match? Kieran, Molyneux. Who's man of the match? Not you. Who's man of the match for either side? Who's man of the match?
I was going to say for Liverpool. I was going to pick
who's man of the match?
I
think it's a mad game because I think James Hill plays really well for them.
I was going to say him. I was going to say James Hill. I thought you were asking Liverpool.
No,
I was going to say out of a bad bunch, I'd probably pick Szoboszlai. But yeah, Hill.
So it's maybe James Hill. I think Jimenez plays well. The lad who scores the second, I think he has a good game. But it was the sort of game where second half you'd have actually said to me and stopped me on 70 minutes who's playing well. I wouldn't have named a player on the pitch at that moment because the way in which the game went, it was a really odd affair, Keo. Second half especially. It's so frustrating, it's so irritating, the way in which it's gone. And listen, fair play to Bournemouth. The game, I think that's the big thing you've got to take away from that all the time. Bournemouth are going to come at you and you'd never ever get to relax against them, and for me that's the biggest praise you can give them.
Yeah, I mean, credit to Bournemouth. I genuinely thought that Liverpool were going to sort that out when that Szoboszlai free kick went in. The second half felt like a little bit more energy from the Reds. It felt like something was going to happen. I thought Robertson changed the energy level a little bit, but ultimately it's not good enough again. It's just not good enough again.
Not good enough again. So we'll rattle through these ratings. The goalkeeper, Alisson Becker, what are you giving him?
5.
Not a good day, is it?
It's not a good day, but not even just the fact that it's not a good day. I feel like every shot that goes at him at the minute's going in, and I'm going to be very careful because I love Alisson Becker, and he's the best goalkeeper maybe in our history. But at the minute, I mean, I know there's defensive problems, I know there's problems all over the pitch, but it's every shot that I feel like Liverpool concede at the minute ends up in the back of the net. And if you concede 3 goals away from home, is it fair to give any more than a 5? 5?
No. Perfectly understandable. We'll do both left backs because they each play a half, so it's only fair. Yeah. What are you giving Milos Kerkez?
You know what? I'm going to give him a 6.
Why do you think you took him off? If you're giving him a 6, why do you think you took
because
him off?
I don't think he was great in the first half, and he's at fault for one of the goals. But I'll be honest with you, I don't think the performance is hookable. I don't think it's the same performance that he got took for early in the season. I think there's an element here of the manager putting Robertson on because he needs him. I think there's an element here of I can hear this noise, and there's people above me who might be selling Andy Robertson, might be selling me vice captain. I'm going to put him on the pitch just to let people know that there's 45 minutes of Premier League football here that I trust him with. He's a genuine option for me, and he doesn't want to get rid of him. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but I just don't think that it was a hookable performance for Kerkez. It wasn't great, none of them were great. I think Van Dijk was worse in the first half than Kerkez was. I know you're not going to hook the captain, but yeah, I'm going to give them both a 6.
Both, so you give Robertson a 6 as well?
Yeah, a higher 6 for Robertson, but like again, he's come on. I'd say he's give energy levels, but he doesn't actually create.
I thought first 15 after he came on, I thought you could see a real difference, and you could see how he was going to be direct, and you could see that, and then he sort of gets stuck in the mud of the game like everyone else because the game was such a muddy game of football. I know the way the pitches are these days, that doesn't really make sense to people, but it felt like a game that just became sort of this turgid mess that both sides were in different ways, you know. And I thought Robertson then got sort of caught in it, if that makes sense.
Well, he did. When he come on, I felt like we were going to get a 7 or an 8 out of Robert when he come on because of the energy levels, but I feel like the rest of the team have dragged him down to their level, and it finishes a 6.
No, that's all fair, Just got the goal getting replayed again behind us. Jesus Christ. The winner. Virgil van Dijk. 5. I'm just checking there to make sure I haven't written anything positive about him because I haven't. I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's not a good day. He gets a goal, but it's not a good day for the captain at all. I mean, it's sloppy, it's uncertain, it's not a Van Dijk performance. What do you think? I think you look at all 3 goals and be a little bit like, I'd like this to be a little bit different, and I think the first one is the problem, and I know it's the first one starts a chain of events, doesn't it? Yeah, it's the conditions. Well, yeah, because it does start the chain of events. Not only do Liverpool effectively concede the goal, but they lose the centre-back partner off the back of it, who I think has just got such terrible fortune, such bad luck that he's gone off injured when he's trying to defend a situation that's created by 2 things happen. One is Van Dijk doesn't do anywhere near as well as he should, but it still only stays alive because it hits the lad in the face. Do you know what I mean? Like, it literally doesn't go out for a corner where we then say, oh, I'd like Van Dijk to be a bit different, a bit better. But
it hits the lad in the face, and he shows good composure, Scott, to still turn it back across. But it literally, he controls it with his face. So it's unfortunate, so unfortunate for Gomez. But Van Dijk should do better, and that includes, by the way, just knock it out for a corner if you want.
100%.
Put your body in front of it, or just knock it out for a corner, or whatever you need. And that, as you say, it does start a chain of events. He then plays the lad on side for the second. The third's a mess, but he scores, and I thought he was good in terms of getting Liverpool on the front foot. But I agree with you in terms of the core job, which is the defending part.
When you're rating players as well, there's always this thing of what's their bar, and Van Dijk is consistently a 9, 8, 9, sometimes a 10. So when he puts in a performance like that, it feels worse.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, Joe Gomez, look, I don't think he was particularly bad before the incident. He didn't get long on the pitch, but it's going to come back to availability and his ability.
But
and
watch him clatter into the goal. Do you know what I mean? Like, it looks
I
horrible.
I know it's hard lines.
It's
I know
like
it's
a
hard
muscle
lines.
injury or
I know,
something.
and I get that, but it's just. They will say he was injured again. You know what I mean?
No, you're right.
And it's difficult for him. I'm not going to be harsh on Joe Gomez because, you know, I love him, and injuries are not your fault. They're not your fault. Even if it's a muscle injury, Neil, it's not your fault.
No, it's not you. Yeah.
It's not your fault. Like, you can't help the fact that you're injured all the time. Like, you just can't. But it comes down to the old saying, I said it again, availability is ability, and if you're going to go off injured and Liverpool end up losing, then it's going to be hard to rate you highly, isn't it?
Yep. All right. Frimpong.
Do you know what? I've been really pleased with Frimpong lately. And again, this is like, I'm probably going to end up giving him a 6 here because the performances lately have been 8s from him. But I've been going to rave about him over the past couple of weeks and say how effective he's been, and we glorified him against Burnley when we sat together in the ground. He hasn't created nothing, and nothing's come of it. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to be really, really difficult to give any of these Liverpool players today a decent rating, given the fact that we've gone 2 goals down, got it back to 2-2, and we've ended up losing the game. Like, we're struggling with positives here, so I'm going to give him another 6.
I'll give him another 6. Gravenberch.
6.
Really?
Yeah. What do you think? What do you give him?
I'll possibly give him a 5. I think he's pulling for tucks a few times. I think there's reasons why they end up being able to. It's mad to me. The Evan Nielsen chance I thought was insane when on 84 when they come up 70 yards on the pitch with no one anywhere, and no one's even, until it's a bit too late. I include Gravenberch busting a gut and going, the building's on fire here, lads. The building's on fire. No one wants to know. No one wants to be part of that process. I don't think it's a good game, but I think again he just gets stuck in the mud of the game. He's another one who's just left in this back and forth maelstrom, and this is what you're dealing with.
Do you know what I will say as well is I think he agrees with you. Did you see his reaction at the end when he kicked the ball off the cone? And he's quite clearly frustrated. He hasn't had a good day. And he's the gaffer there by looking at his face. Yeah, fair enough. I think I agree with you. Let's go 5.
All right, McAllister.
If I'm going to give Gravenberch a 6, I don't think there's much difference between the two of them today. I think there's been cause for McAllister to improve all season, but by McAllister's standards for weeks now, I've been unhappy with him, it's fair to say. I think, again, he's probably a product of his own success. He was my favourite Liverpool player last year, or one of my favourite Liverpool players last year, and I think that's why I'm so chocker at the McAllister I see at the minute. I don't think he stood out more than any other midfielder. If I give Gravenberch a 6, he's getting one as well. You?
And then 6 is fair enough. I also thought, I know we tend not to do the subs unless they add like a half. I thought Curtis came on and just never quite, he seemed dull at sea. And taking McAllister off, and I understand why he's done that. I think that might have been a pre-programmed sub anyway. But I think in a number of ways, I think it's one of Curtis's poorer appearances of the season. Yep. He never quite managed to assert himself in any meaningful way. And I thought we actually lost a little something, which is maybe praise for McAllister. All right, Szoboszlai. I said to you at the start of the show, he's probably the best of a bad bunch, and he scores another cracking free kick. If it finishes a draw, I'd be leaning to a 7 because he gets the equaliser. The fact that it's finished 3-2 and I'm fucking fuming, I'm just another 6. What do you say? I think you can't argue with the goal. I would probably just give him the 7. I think there's a couple of other things he does in the game that are really good and impressive. Again,
he's the best Liverpool player today.
But also the Frimpong sub pulls just pulls him into right back, and then that's a bit of a shame.
Yeah.
In that it makes him less sort of central. I know there's times where it feels like he lacks a little bit of guile in the middle of the park, so I'm not saying it's ludicrous to do that, but I think it just didn't quite feel right to me in being pulled out there. I think if there's one who is a 7, I think it is Szoboszlai.
Yeah, and I said that in my head, knowing I was doing this show and watching the game, I'm thinking he is the best Liverpool player on the pitch, despite what's happened. And when that goal goes in, it's fair enough. He scores another cracking free kick. I'm not happy with his performance, but Liverpool got it back to 2-2, and he's playing probably better than anybody else. But again, it's hard to score highly when you get it back to 2-2. The goal means nothing. The free kick's great, but it means nothing.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Wirtz.
Again, because of his levels recently, and what you'd expect from him. Yeah, it's a 6 again. Yeah, maybe a 5. To be honest, I can't really remember doing much. I'm gonna go 5.
5, all right, go 5. I'll give him a 6. I thought he was bright, wants to be involved all the time, constantly gets on it.
I agree with that. He wants to be involved, but I don't think he was. And like, again, I'm judging. I do ratings. It's hard. It's hard because when you rave about a player week after week after week, you set this standard. I'm going to say 5. I'm going to stick with 5. I don't think.
You get to your ratings, don't worry at all.
I'm fine with that.
You go with it. You run all the way through. Salah.
It's a 5 out of 6. I'll be honest with you. I think I put 6 in my notes, but looking back, I think it's probably a 5 from Mo Salah. I don't think he was good at all today, and that's not necessarily down to Mo Salah. I don't think Liverpool helped them today. I don't think Liverpool helped themselves today. But given the fact that I was really pleased with him in the week, I thought I'd see a performance today, and we haven't got one. I'll go 5. What are you going?
I'll go with 6. I think for Salah. I think he does all right. We've got a small toddler.
What do you think of Salah?
A tour at the minute, but we're fine. It's all going all right. All right, and last one's Gakpo of the starters.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a 6 again. I think there's worse players than Gakpo on the pitch. Even though he's had a lot of stick recently and he's put a lot of 5 and 6 performances in, I don't think today he was much worse than anybody else. And I'm putting splinters on my arse a little bit here, giving 6s out like they're going out of fashion, but I do think they were all bang average today. And I think a 6 is a fair score for Gakpo.
Manager's on the telly right now as we're doing this. Yeah. He has a great day on Wednesday. Yeah. Felt like he got everything right, got his subs right, all absolutely picture perfect. Yeah. But he is now no winning 5 in the league. It's 4 draws and a defeat. No winning 5 in the league. It's just the truth of the matter. Suddenly, this is the problem with the nature of the unbeaten run as it was, which was that, yes, Liverpool were unbeaten, but the flip side of it was there just weren't that many wins. He's got a job to do, which is to make sure that he gets Liverpool into 4th. And if that doesn't happen this season, it won't be because of tonight. It'll be because you can't not beat any of the promoted sides at home, which is what we failed to do. We've took from those games 3 points.
I'll be honest with you, though, he misses out by a point. Then it is down to tonight.
Well, it can be tonight as well. But I'm still. They're a funny side, Bournemouth, and the way they go at you is just sort of constant. You've got to have a plan for it. But it doesn't feel as though he's had a good day. And on the whole, he will now be, I think, at least as far as we're all concerned, under more pressure again for his job. And that's the reality he's got to live with.
He's under massive amounts of it. And look, it's fair for people to make their minds up whenever they want to make their minds up. Me personally, I'll say to you now, I won't be making any sort of decision or making my mind up on this until the summer. That's me. I had the best day of my life in that ground in the summer, in May, and I back a Liverpool manager longer than 6 months after the league win. That's just me.
Yeah.
But I understand that people have made their minds up because they're sure that it's not going to turn around. They've seen enough now this season, and it's hard. It's getting harder and harder to defend them, Neil. It is getting harder and harder to defend them because although we went to Marseille and put in a top performance, and I raved about it and said, the San Siro, we can go win the European Cup. I'm not saying I don't believe that. I genuinely do believe that. But I'm getting to the point now where I'm starting to feel the man might have to win the European Cup to save his job.
There we are. Huge shout from KO. Listen, for all the live stuff today, thank you very much indeed. Everyone has worked ever so hard to pull it all together. I hope you've enjoyed it, if you've been part of it all the way through. It's been good to do, and it's been good to be around with people. It's less good, obviously, when Liverpool don't win. When Liverpool don't win, we all lose. Thank you very much to Ash. Thank you very much to KO. See you later on.